let's just go ahead and start, okay? All right, so 32, because you didn't have to do 31. All right, so it says the table below shows the distance of a car, the distance a car has traveled, I'm sorry. What is the meaning of the slope of the linear model for the data? All right, so I would have gone to y equal to and figure out my slope, obviously, right? Because it's asking you for the slope. And when you go to when you go to y equal to, if you don't know what is x and what is y, it's telling you right now. It says miles every minute. The slope is the change in y divided by x, right? Which means miles is your y and minutes is your x. And that makes sense. The more minutes you drive, the more miles you can travel, correct? All right. So these are my x's. My minutes are my x's, right? And then my miles would be my y. Okay, so what do you get for the equation of the line? What do we get? Say that again. 0.8x. Uh-huh. And that's it? Okay, why doesn't it have a y-intercept? It does have a y-intercept, you just don't have to write it, right? What's the y-intercept? All right, why is it 0? Talk to me about why is it 0. Miguel. If you're not driving, you're not going anywhere, right? So it's proportional, correct? All right. So now that's per minute, right? Yes? 0.8 miles per minute. But in here, it's a little different. Yay? So how can I figure out what is what? How can I do 0.8 and change it to 5 per minute or 4 per minute or 4 every 5 minutes or 5 every 4 minutes? What can I do? Say that again? Somebody said it. Who said it? Change it into a what? Thank you very much. Change it into a fraction so you can see your rise over your run. Very good. And what is 0.8 as a fraction? 4 over? All right, so what's my answer? There you go. 4 miles every 5 minutes. Very good. Or you could have just gone ahead and divide, right? And figure out your 0.8. Either way is fine. Good job, babies. All right. The area of a trapezoid is found by using that formula where A is the area, H is the height, and B1 and B2 are the lengths of the bases. What is the area of the above trapezoid? So for this one, we had to actually plug in all those things on the formula, correct? So, and it becomes a polynomial problem instead of just a regular. All right, so I had to add those two, correct? B1 plus B2, yay? And then I got to multiply by the height and by 0.5, yay? All right, so let's go ahead and add. Is there anything that I can add between those two bases? So that would be, when I add those two bases, what do I get? 2x plus 4. Very good. So this is this part of the equation, right? And then I'm going to multiply that by my height, which is 4. Yay? And then I'm going to multiply that by 1/2, which is 0.5, right? So can I just go ahead and multiply that by 2? Because 4 times 0.5, what's half of 4? 2, right? So I can just go ahead and multiply that by 2. And I can distribute that 2. So what is my area? 4x plus 8. So the correct answer was B. Good job. Pretty easy, right? All right, did we have to do number 34? Yes, right? All right, so there's a lot of information in there. You cannot panic. You just need to chunk it and take it one at a time because there's a lot of information in here, okay? The company produces at least 100 packs, so that would be 100 and more, right, of pens each day, but no more than 240. So 240 or less. So whatever pence is, it has to be a number between 100 and 240. So I can actually make an inequality out of this, right? Okay, so let's say that the number of pence, what is it talking about, two different things? Yes, it's talking about pencils too. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and define my variables. I'm going to say that x equals pence and that y equals pencils, right? So I'm going to make an inequality out of this one. So it would be 100. Can it be 100? So it's got to be equal to, right? Yes, but it has to be more than. So the x has to be eaten by the crocodile, right? Because it's got to be more than 100, but less than 240. Can it be? Can it be no more? It says no more than 240. Can it be 240? Yes. So this would be less than or equal to 240, and boom, there's your first inequality. Yay? All right. The company produces at least 70 packs of pencils, so 70 or higher. But no more than 170, so 170 or less. So same concept, but for your y, right? Because those are pencils. So it would be 70 less than or equal to y, less than or equal to 170. And now I know, now I do this, and I said, ooh, I got a domain and a range. Don't I? Yes. All right. Okay, so a total of less than 300 packs. Sorry, I can't see my key. Whoop. All right, so a total of less than 300 packs of pens and pencils are produced each day. So x plus y. Talk to me. Less than 300. Thank you. Less than 300 because it's pens and pencils, and it's less than 300. Very good. So now I got a function. Yay? All right. It says each pack of pen makes a profit of 125. So this would be 125x. Yay? And then each pack of pencil makes a profit of 75 cents. So 0.75y. Yay? So it looks really intimidating, but as you're reading it, notice that I don't read more than one at the same time. Do you see that? That's because then my brain goes into overload mode, and then I panic, and then I don't know how to do it. Okay? So I read one bullet, and I change it to math. I read one bullet, and I change it to... Because it's a lot easier for me to read this than it is to read all that. That's confusing because I hate reading. All right? So that's what I do. One change, one change, one change, and then I don't get overwhelmed. Okay? Says, what is the maximum profit the company can make each day? So how do we do this? Come on. What is the maximum profit the company can make each day? Now, you got to take under consideration your domain and your range, correct? Yes? So there's two options for pens. You can either make 100 or 240, right? It's between that range. So one gives you a minimum, the other one gives you a maximum. Does that make sense? All right. So, for example, for pens, it's 125 times 100 How much would that give me? 125. But I can also make 240. And how much would that give me? 300. Okay? Are we good? What about for pencils? So 75 cents times what? 70. And that would be what? 52.50. Or it can be 75 times 170, because that's the maximum that I can make. Oh, you can see it. I'm sorry. 127. All right. So how can I do this now? How does this help me? Talk to me. Say that again? I can't hear you. Add your maximums up. And it's 427? Yay? Does everybody agree? No. Thank you. I'm glad somebody said no. Thank you. So talk to me, Martin. Thank you, because you got to make less than 300 packs. Thank you very much. So you cannot just add your maximums up. Thank you very much. Because you got to follow now this right here. That has got to be what? Less than 300 packs. Thank you very much. So you don't, it wasn't going to be that easy. Come on. You don't just add your maximums up. Because if you add your maximum up, which would be, what's my maximum? 300, right? And 127, then that's how many packs? Oh my God, 240 and 170. That's way too much. Yay? All right, so I cannot do that. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Yes. So we forgot that it was less than 300 packs. So how do we do this? Because obviously this table over here, somebody knows how to do this. So how do we do this? So I cannot use the 240 and the 170, correct? Yes? So which in terms tell me, well, maybe I need to use, I don't have a choice. I have to do 70, right? Does that make sense? Yay? Yes? Okay, so if I make 70 from one, how many can I make from the other one? All right, so I don't have a choice. I either can make, I'm not going with my biggest one, right? Because it's going to be more than 300 packs. Does that make sense? Okay, so I either have to go with either my 100 or my 70. With me? Yes? All right, so how can we do this? Talk to me. So I know that 70 pencils are what? Are 52? 50, right? And then if I make 70 pencils, how many pens can I make? 230, right? And then I can go ahead and calculate how much would that profit give me, right? Because each one of those pens is $1.25. Yay? Okay, but can it be 300? No. So in reality, it's not 230. It's how much? 229. There you go. 229. So it's not 230 because it's got to be less than 300, right? So, but now, if you did it with the 230, it's okay because you would have got a number really close to the correct answer, okay? So it's okay. It's not going to be a big deal. So 229, and then that is times what? 125. And how much money would that give me? 286.25. So now I'm getting ready to add these two to see if my number is there. Can we do that? Okay, stop looking at me and let's do it. Yeah. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the people that are looking at me and not doing anything. All right, so what's my grand total between those two? Total. Yeah, my total. My total. 338. And then I stop and I look and I said, ding, 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 there's my answer. Correct answer would be what? A. All right, so yes, you add them. You add them. You added it. Yes, you added it. Yes, yes, you added it. We make up words over here. I love it. Just don't go to Miss Monsieur or Miss Wade and repeat them, though. No, don't. Don't get me in trouble. No. All right, 35. You guys don't go to your reading classes anymore, do you? Woo. All right. Most of you don't, right? All right. John mixed. Ooh, let me see who got this right. They're not. These problems are not hard, but they require a lot of thinking. We need to be focused, or we need to be separated. All right. John bought 4 pounds of almonds for a total cost of 22. So I'm just going to say that this is X and that is Y, because I just see cashews first and almonds second. All right. So he bought 4 pounds of almonds. Almonds are Y, for a total cost of 22. So 4Y equals 22. Yay? See my strategies? I'm reading. I'm translating. Because that's pretty to me. This is messy. This is pretty. I like numbers and letters, not words. Yay. Because I can understand that. Just be quiet. All right. The cost per pound for cashews is, I can't say that word. See, this is why I don't like words. Is 60% more than the cost per pound for almonds. So I think I can calculate this because I can, if I bought 4 for 22, how much is 1? Divide, right? All right, so how much is 1 pound? $5.50? All right. So look, these are my almonds, right? And that word that I cannot read is 60% more than that. That thing. Cashew? Oh, I can say cashew. Cashew. It's like I'm just saying a shoe. Like I sneeze. Cashew. There you go. I can say that. All right. So each one of them, each one of the almonds, right, is $5.50. And the cashews, thank bless you, I love it. And the cashews are 60% more than that. So how can I calculate the how much I'm paying per almond? Not almond, cashews. Multiplied what? Yeah, you can do 1.60 and that will give you the total amount. Very good. Or you can do 0.60 and that's the amount that you add. It depends on how much you want to work. If you just want to do one step, multiply it by 160%, right? Like when we do the growth. But if you don't mind doing 2, then you multiply it by 60 and then that's the amount that you add to that 550. I'm a little lazy, so I'm going to multiply that by 1.6. Yay? And that would be $8.80. So that would be the cashews, right? So almonds are $5.50. Cashews are $8.80. Yay? All right, so we're good. John bought enough cashews. Oh my God, I can't say that word. That when he mixed them with the almonds, the mixture had a value of $6.50 per pound. All right, so let's go ahead and write this down. My X's is 880. My Y's, these are the word that I cannot say. And then my almonds are 550. I just want to organize my thing. Almond, no, not Alvin, almonds. Alvin is right here with us. Almonds. Almonds. I can't say it. Stop making fun of me. Not cool. All right. So, alright, so John bought enough cashews that when he mixed them with the almonds, I can say it, the mixture had a value of $6.50 per pound. How would you do this? And you're looking for cashews, which is your X, right? All right, so strategies. Yeah, well, this is one of those that you don't want to start from scratch. I will definitely use my options, right? So if it's 20 of cashews, then it's 80 of almonds, right? And then work out the math and see if that gives you 650, right? If it's 25 of cashews, then it's 75 of almonds. Does that make sense? Yes? And then work out the math and see if that gives you 650. If it's 30 of cashews, then it's 70 of almonds. And then work out the math and see if it gives you... Does that make sense? Yes? All right, so let's try the first one. 20, because these are x's, right? So this would be 20 of 850, right? No, not 850. 880. And that would be 0.20, because it's percent. Yes? Plus, if this is 20%, the other one has to be what? 80%, and then the other one is 550, right? All right, so somebody do that math and tell me how much you get. Now, you're looking for 650, right? Again, it looks a lot harder than what it is. You got to think about it, but it looks a lot harder than what it is. 6 point what? All right, so this is, I'm going to write them down because I don't know which one is going to be closest to it, right? But it seems like this is a little far off. This may not be, all right? So $6.16. Let's do the next one. So 0.25, 880. And if it's 25 of that, it has to be 75 of the other one, right? So 0.75 of 550. Does everybody understand what I'm doing? Yay? So when you don't have a clue, please always use your ABCD. Always, always, always. You're going to work a little harder, but it's okay. How much does that give you? 6 point what? So 33? Because it's money, so you got to round to 2 after the point, right? So 633. All right, let's do the next one. 0.30, 880, plus, and if it's 30 of that, it's got to be 70 of the other one, right? 70 of 550. I don't think we're going to get any closer than that. $6.49. Ding, ding, ding. Move it along. So see, it's not that hard. It looks very intimidating, but it's not that hard. You got to chunk it. You cannot, Brian, come on, stop. Serious. You cannot. You got to make sure it's not that hard, guys. Okay? I wouldn't make it systems of equations or anything like that. Sometimes it's just a lot easier to use common sense, right? And then, okay, if this is 20, then that's 80, and let's move it along. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, it says, Lucy and Barbara began saving money the same week. The table below shows the models for the amount of money Lucy and Barbara had saved after X weeks. After how many weeks will Lucy and Barbara have the same, oh, come on, have the same amount of money saved? Woo, this is so easy. All you got to do is what? Go to y equal to, find your point of intersection. What's my answer, babies? 8. Oh, okay, I'm taking my chancleta out. Who do I have to throw it to? Brian or Miguel. One of those two. All right, next one. Colin noticed that various combinations of nickels and dimes could add up to 65 cents. Let X be equal to the number of nickels. How much is a nickel worth? So 0.05. And then Y equals the number of dimes. So that would be 0.10. All right. What is the domain where Y is a function of X and the total value is 65? I'm gonna keep it very real with you. You could either write an equation and then go to the table, or you can just basically do a table and try to figure out, okay, 1 dime and how many of these? Da-da-da, how many of that? Okay, either way, it's going to be okay. Do we understand what I'm saying or no? All right, so if I make an equation, what would it be? If X plus 0.10Y has to be equal to what? 0.65? And then you solve for what? For y, and then you go to the table and you figure out what is your domain. What are possible domains that will give you that answer? Does that make sense? Yes. And then of course you're not going to have negative anything because you don't have negative dimes or negative nickels, right? So you're not going to have 0. That doesn't make any sense either. Yay? Yay or nay? Yay. All right, so let's solve for y. When we solve for y, what do we get? Go, do it, because I'm not doing it for you. Go. Or you can just basically try it out, right? That's another thing that you can do. So you're looking for x's. Which one can you eliminate right off the bat? 2. There's 2 that you can eliminate right off the bat. Right, which one? Very good, because they have 0. Right? So and then you only have to try B or D. It might be better just to go ahead and try them instead of, that's what you guys did? So it might be better just to go ahead and try them instead of trying to solve for y and then go into the table. So for example, if you have one of these, those are x's, so those are 0.65 cents, right? So if you have, these are 5 cents, and y is your 10 cents. So if you have one of these, yay, you should have, that's 5 cents, you should have 6 of these, yay? Because that's 10, that's 60 cents and 5, 65, yes? All right, if you have 3, I'm just trying that out. You can try 2 as well. Can you do 2? 2 5 cents? If you do 2 5 cents, I don't think you're ever going to get 65. Does that make sense? You need an extra one tagging along so you can have that 5 in 65. So they're not going to be even numbers. They're going to be what? Odd numbers. So the correct answer was D. Yay? All right. The value of an antique car is modeled by the function, and there's your function, where x is the number of years since 2005. This is important. By what approximate % rate is the value of the car increasing per year? That information is right in the equation, but you need to know where to look for it. So talk to me. Keep it real with me. Where did you go to in the equation to try to figure out the rate of percentage that it increased? I would have gone straight over here, right? On 1.009. But then when I look at my options, I say, oh crap, that's not there. Right? Yay? And then I said, okay, so I'm going to have to figure this out and connect it to this. I don't panic, because to tell you the truth, right now, I don't even have a clue what they're asking me to do. I don't. I don't. I'm going to keep it very real with you. I don't. But I don't panic. I try to make sense of what I got, and this is the only thing that you got, right? That's the only thing that you got, that equation. And then your options. So this is what I'm going to say. Okay, 1,007,000? It's out of the picture, because that's the initial value, right? So I can take that out of the picture. So the only other number, I already checked that one, and I couldn't find it on my answers, right? So the only other number that I can do is 2/3. Does that make sense? Yes. And then I say, okay, well then let's divide 2/3 and see what I got. What's 2/3? Point what? And then I said, okay, I don't have 0.66666, but darn, I have 0.60. And that's pretty darn close. So guess what I'm doing? That's it. That's your right answer. All right? Now, do I know what I'm doing? No. Did I get it right? Yeah. I did get it right. That's the right answer. All right? So Okay, lesson learned. You don't have to panic when you don't know how to do it. Try to make sense of it. Don't try to guess just without looking at it. Try to make an educated guess. I made an educated guess on that one because I didn't have a clue. I made an educated, and that's exactly how I solved it when I saw it. Okay, I was like, okay, I don't know how to do this. Oh my God, what are they asking me to do? I don't know. And then I tried to look for that and I couldn't find it. And it's because it's 2/3 of a year, not the whole year. That's why it threw me off. All right, next one. Very easy to do. What's the only thing that you need to do? What? You don't need to do a regression. I wouldn't do a regression. I would just write that on y equal to and see that 1 pairs up with 12, 2 pairs up with 1350. I would have gone straight to the table after I have written down my function on the table, right? And it's pretty cool because you only need to try one. A is your answer. All right. How many people did actually did 40? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip it because now that I went through those other two, you might be able to have a better idea on how to do this. Yay? So I'm going to go to number, yeah, we're going to do that. When we come back on Monday, we're going to do that as a do now. All right? But now that I've gone through the other two, right? You guys are going to have an advantage because you're going to have a better idea on how to do this than the other kids. All right, so let's go to number 41. The sequence below shows the number of trees and nursery plants each year. Which formula could be used to determine the number of trees the nurseries will plant next year? Next, if the number of trees planted this year now is known. Yeah, it's just next year, next and now, next and now, next and now. All right? So, this is what I would have done. Is it 4 times now? Is it 1/4 times now? So, all you needed to do is it 4 times 2. Does that give you 8? Does 8 times 4 times, I'm sorry, 4 times 8, does that give you 32? Yes. 4 times 32, does that give you 128? Yes. Boom, move it along. Yay? All right, I cannot throw this away because that's our class opener. All right. They were originally 4 trees. We had to do 42, right? Yes. All right. There were originally 4 trees in an or thank you. Orchard. 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 No, it's not orchid. No, it's not the plant. It's not the orchid like the flower. It's something else. All right. All right, let's go. I'm waiting. All right, so when I read this, if they were originally 4, I said, ooh, that's the y-intercept, right? Because that's your starting point. So I say b equals 4. So that eliminates which two? There you go. Just by reading that first sentence, I was able to, and translating it to b equals 4, I was able to eliminate 2 of them. 50% chance of getting it right now. Each year, the owner planted the same number of trees. In the 29th year, there were 178 trees. Which function can be used to determine the number of trees in the orchard in any year n? How do you know? Very good. How do you know? Just plug it in and make sure that it gives you 178. That's all. Go for it. Good job. All right, we didn't have to do 43, right? The answer is C. And then if you did 44, I'll tell you in a second. It is C. Did you just guess? Did you guys just guess?
Yes, miss, I went like I really I plugged it in and then I like did it in the calculator and I saw it was a straight line and I went back to the y equal to and I'm like if 10 and 2 like if 10 and 2 is before 11 then that's 10 and 2 is R so 11 and negative 2
Good job. Good job. Very good, baby girl. All right, let's go. 45. The sequence below shows the total number of days Francisco had used his gym membership at the end of each week 1, 2, 3, and 4. Assuming the pattern continues, which function could be used to find the total number of days Francisco had used his gym membership at the end of the week? Okay, so the first thing that you need to know is that these are your y's. So your x would be 1, 2, 3, right. Oh, very good. Hopefully nobody is hesitating when it comes to that. And then after that, I just would have gone to y equal to, would have gone to the table and make sure that 1 is paired up with 4, 2 is paired up with 9, yada, yada, yada. I'm doing too much.
It's arithmetic.
It's B. What did you do? You know that it was 5 because it's going up by 5s all the time? You did a linear regression in your head then, if you know that. Yeah, the 5n, the knowing that is 5, but you know that it's arithmetic because it goes up by the same amount of time, right? So you can eliminate D, because that's not arithmetic. Arithmetic needs to be linear, right? And then you can do your linear regression, or you can go to y equal to and plug it in and make sure that those are line up, all right? All right, let's go to the next one. The volume of a sphere is that much. What is the approximate diameter? All right, so let's go ahead and write the formula. They gave me the formula. They were nice enough to give me the formula. But the problem is that the formula has radius and not diameter, right? So the first thing that you need to know is that one diameter equals how many radius? 2, all right? So the next thing that I'm going to do is I have the volume, so I'm going to plug it in, right? What is pi? Or you can just go ahead and put pi, right? And then that would be x to the third power. And then I would have just gone straight to equation solver and figure out my x, which is my r, right? And that was 8.3. And then I multiply that by 2, and I get my diameter, which is 16.6, and the correct answer was A. It's just like a little harder way to give you an equation to solve. That's all. All right, 47 we didn't need to do, right? The answer was C. Did we have to do number 48? Do you want to know the answer for those that did it? No, it was 43%. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I guess when we're guessing, we're just going to put C. All right. I don't know if that works all the time, guys. You don't get commended if you don't know what you're doing. You get commended when you know what you're doing. All right. Let's go. The scatter plot below shows the number of arithmetic errors 10 students made on a quiz and the amount of time the students took to complete the quiz. So, see Miguelito, this is right. The less time they take on the test, the more mistakes they take. That's why the more mistakes they make. That's why.
The reading test, Cornelius like took 30 minutes. He got 100.
He didn't get 100. He passed the test. All right. He really knows what he's doing. All right. I'm going to stop. So the less time you spend on anything, the more mistakes you're going to make because you're rushing yourself, okay? This is where stop. This is where I would have taken my, and actually you don't really need to do that. If you want to take your ID and make your line, but it's obvious that it's a negative correlation, right? So I can eliminate C and A. And it's definitely not weak. Because those lines are pretty darn, those points are pretty darn close together, so the correct answer is B. All right, and we didn't have to do 50, right? Yeah, I'll give you the answer. The answer is mean. See, we didn't get C. We would have got C, we would have gotten it wrong. All right.